A 1,000-acre wildfire this spring in Talladega County. That's only 25% contained at this time. And you'll hear from families trying to rebuild from the wildfires in California amidst the rain. Why the fire victims say they're both glad and, well, not too excited to see the rain.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And right now on the Weather Extra live look, this is a camera I've been showing quite a bit here today. And typically when you look in this direction, this is looking south of Oak Grove in the Sylacauga area towards a marble quarry. And sometimes you'll see a lot of dust that's kicked up, but there's a lot of smoke in the air because we've had a wind out of the north and that big fire over northern Talladega County that we first brought you last night here. That smoke's traveling to the south. So anywhere south of Talladega, Sylacauga, Wilsonville, Clanton, Rockford, all these areas here to the south, you may notice that haze in the air tonight, and this could have an impact on the air quality. Temperatures are dropping quickly. We actually had a front that moved in over the weekend, and it brought a slight drop in temperatures, so it's going to be chilly in the morning. So if you haven't done so, may need to adjust that thermostat before you head off to bed tonight, because we'll be back in the 40s early tomorrow morning. But this is quite incredible. This is the satellite view from space, and the visible satellite image actually picked up on that huge smoke plume today over Talladega County. And you see that's where Renfro Road is right there outside of Talladega, and you see how that expands south, and that camera's right there at Oak Grove near Sylacauga, but that continues south. So anywhere between Sylacauga and the Fayetteville area, certainly going to notice those impacts. But watch what happens here. This is our smoke dispersion model, and there was another fire in Cherokee County, and you can see how with the wind shifts direction over the next 24 hours tomorrow, it becomes more southwest or southerly, and then eventually more southwesterly. It's going to start to shift a lot of that back to the north and also help to mix some of that out. But you may notice in areas further north tomorrow possibly some impacts there. But just be careful. These fires have really ramped up in number over the past couple of days because of these low humidities. We're still in extreme drought conditions, so wildfire danger, that is still a very big concern for us out there. But we got some record warmth coming up over the next couple of days. Highs nearing 80 degrees. Just when we thought that we may be able to say goodbye 80s, not so fast. Here we go again. We've got highs around 80 degrees. Rain chances coming back Friday. Maybe some scattered showers and storms. It's not an all-day washout, so if you have big Friday plans, just know that just have a backup in case there is a rain delay, but it's not an all-day thing. I still think there'll be plenty of opportunities for outdoor activities, and it's not the rain that we need. But after that system, looking ahead to next week, just to give you an early preview of Thanksgiving, there's another system that's been showing up several model runs around November the 26th. So another good chance of rain could have some impacts on holiday travel plans there for next week. So that's the system to watch, and also warm through Thanksgiving. Yeah, looks like those temperatures are going to stay above average right on through the middle of next week. But again, tomorrow after that chilly start, nice improvement during the day. And we talked about the fires happening. I mean, other than that, weather is going to be beautiful tomorrow. There'll be plenty of sun in the mix. 3 o'clock, you can see again mid to upper 70s possible. The wind tomorrow becoming southerly and then south-southwest at about 5 to 15 during the afternoon. Look at these high temperatures over the next several days. 80 degrees Wednesday, Thursday, big warm up. Those are the 2 days where we could touch records, set record highs. And then over the weekend, Sunday, a little bit cooler behind that system that may bring some scattered showers and storms as we look ahead there towards Saturday and also into Sunday. So here's the latest on the fires that we are tracking. This is the wildfire in Talladega County. It's burned an estimated 1,000 acres. It started yesterday afternoon. This is video from viewer Alyssa Lynch. She tells us this is what it looked like last night on Renfro Road. That's west of the city of Talladega. Alicia Ballantyne, a spokesperson with the Alabama Forestry Commission, tells WVRC 6 News there are 6 firefighters and 3 bulldozers actively fighting the wildfire. As of a couple of hours ago, it was 25% contained. Ethan Barrett with the Forestry Commission says you should avoid the area, specifically Concord Church Road and Chaco Springs Roads. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. In California, a weekend of rain and storms killed multiple people and threatened parts of the state impacted by wildfires earlier this year. As Tanya J. Powers tells us, more storms are on the way.
relentless rain continues to pummel California, threatening mudslides and debris flow in areas devastated by January wildfires.
I am concerned about what's happened because there has been a lot of the mudslides and stuff in the past, and we were even coming down Canaan, and you could see all of the rocks just coming down.
It comes after a deadly atmospheric river targeted the Golden State over the weekend. Multiple people were killed, including a young girl who was swept into the ocean by a large wave. Forecasters say parts of Southern California picked up nearly a foot of rain, which flooded roads, downed trees, and prompted water rescues.
It lasted for a good 20 minutes without stop and then kept going.
In Los Angeles County, dozens of homes in the Palisades burn scar area were under evacuation orders months after flames flattened communities. Those orders have since been lifted, but with more rain in the forecast, folks aren't taking any chances. Some locals spent the weekend filling sandbags, and emergency officials are urging them to get a plan in place in case they need to leave.
Get your belongings set out first and get that stuff packed up. So if you are in one of those warning areas, you can go and you can make decisions while being calm versus making those decisions under stress.
Further east, forecasters say a rare November heat wave could fuel potentially severe storms across parts of the South this week. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
All right, if you missed it last night, the Leonid meteor showers, one of the premier events as far as meteor showers we deal with throughout the entire year. It is happening right now. It is peaking. It's a comet Tempel-Tuttle, and we're traveling through the debris trail of that comet. So that's what causes the meteors. And sometimes these can break out into what we call meteor storms with this particular one. So sometimes they can be kind of unpredictable. But the time to look is midnight until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And just look up. Right now the phase the moon's in, we should have some great viewing conditions. Of course, if you are away from where some of these fires are happening, it's less hazy, but over 15 per hour possible. Again, the peak time, you got to be up late. It's after midnight, but if you're up bright and early tomorrow morning, look up. Some of you have already sent me some photos of some of the Leonid meteors from last night. Right now, it's a little chilly out there. Should be a great night for sky watching. The sky is clearing out. 48 at Gadsden already, so we are seeing a big drop in those temperatures. Still showing 60 around Tuscaloosa, but I think every location tomorrow morning we're in the 40s out the door. But these temperatures, last week it was record cold. This week it is record warmth, and right now we want to head to meteorologist Matt Daniel for a look at those record highs for later this week.
Well, we're looking ahead at this week and temperatures well above average. So where should we be for this time of the year? Well, here's a look at those average highs from November 1st through the end of the month. And right between November 15th, November 20th, we should be right around 63 to 65 degrees, so about 64. And we're nowhere near that as we go into the upcoming week. Now, the big question I have is, could we possibly tie or break some record highs? Here's the overall setup. We got southerly flow bringing in that warm air. So you can see with those yellows, oranges, indicating the warm temperatures all across the southeast. And we got this cool front way out to the west that will eventually make its way in here with a potential rain chance for the end of the week. So here's a look at the record highs. I really think our best potential is going to be Wednesday and Thursday to possibly tie or break records. So this is a look for November 19th, Wednesday, and we've got a record high of 80 set back in 1985 in Birmingham, 80 in Tuscaloosa back in 1981, and in Anniston a record high of 81 back in 1963. So I think for Wednesday, if we have a good chance to tie the record high temperature, it may end up in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa. What about Thursday, November 20th? Well, I think all three locations have a pretty good chance to tie or break the record high. 79 is the record in Birmingham. Check out that date, 1896. So it's been a while. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Tuscaloosa 80 degrees back in 1949, and Anniston, your record high back on November 20th, 78 degrees set back in 1979. So I know if you want some cool temperatures or more fall temperatures, you're just gonna have to wait. There is a chance we'll see some pattern changes, as Wes was talking about, towards the end of the month and into December. We'll be watching it very closely. Till then, we'll keep you updated and let you know this week if we could possibly tie or break those record highs.
You're watching WBRC 6 News, Alabama Broadcasters Association's Station of the Year.
Let's get our pictures going this week here on Weather Extra. You can either scan the QR code or just do an app search for WBRC First Alert. Scroll down to the bottom and you can see where to enter in pictures or upload pictures for us to use right here on the TV. We're looking at a lovely view. Look at this Logan Martin Lake. I don't know if this is a sunset or a sunrise, but man, it's always great to see these events on the water because you get that double image of the reflection off the water. Bobby Rose sent this in. Just a lovely view, Bobby. Thank you for sharing with the whole class. Look at this. This is Leanne Wyatt, and she's been doing some traveling, and she lost track. She couldn't remember where, but apparently she's a passenger in the car and took a picture of a sunrise or sunset somewhere in Virginia is what she labeled it. So Leanne, thank you for taking us on your trip and sharing that picture with us. We've got another one here. This is Kaylee Doucette. She's got some fall leaves somewhere in Alabama. So just a lovely looking leaves. It just kind of feels like fall right now. We've had some crazy weather extremes with it being really cold or really hot, We're right in the line of just being slightly above average here today, and we've got those leaves falling. And check this out. Darlene Lynch sent in a Japanese maple from Holly Pond, a couple of maple trees there. So thank you very much for sharing that. Some bright gold and some rusty orange. That looks nice. If you want to send in a picture and be a part of our coverage here on Weather Extra, there's the QR code again, or just do an app search for WBRC First Alert, and you can be a part of our Weather Extra team.
All right, Mickey, while last week's Northern Lights show in Alabama is something many of us will always remember, astronomers were also excited about this. A giant explosion released by a star beyond our solar system. The blast came from a red dwarf star about 130 light years away. Researchers say the blast was tens of thousands of times stronger than anything our sun can unleash. Scientists warn the explosion could strip the atmosphere off any nearby planet, and now they plan to study how often these violent eruptions happen around other stars. Some of this stuff is just hard to wrap your mind around, right? And people living near the border of England and Wales are dealing with some major flooding happening right now. What you're looking at is video from Wales. In it, you can see flooded roads and submerged homes in the city south of Monmouth. Almost 5 inches of rain in just 12 hours caused a river to overflow, which led to the flooding. The BBC is reporting people had to be rescued from their homes, with some evacuated to a library, while others were sent to a recreational center. Now, as they clean up, people impacted are expected temps now to tumble into the 20s. And while flooding continues to be a big problem for California, people who are rebuilding after wildfires find themselves at a crossroads. They're glad to see the rain, but they don't want to see so much at one time, as we never do, right? As Joy Benedict tells us, it's also making the recovery process so much tougher and more drawn out.
As the rain fell in Altadena, pounding of progress was faint, but for one family, the pitter-patter on their makeshift roof was music.
Compared to last time, night and day.
Gwen Sakina and Jacques Laramie gave us a tour of what will be their new home in Altadena. But instead of a roof, they have vinyl billboards keeping it dry.
Now we're dealing with the weather. We have finished hardwood floors and paneling downstairs that we really need to protect from getting wet.
You see, they had just moved into their home in Altadena 10 days before the Eaton fire. And after their home burned down, they didn't build new. They saved a century-old home scheduled for demolition and moved it to their property. But last month's rain almost washed it away.
And it was just like bailing water out of a sinking ship. It was terrible.
So this week they had old billboards donated, and they used duct tape to make it ship-shape.
For the last 2 days, we've had neighbors and friends come over and help us patch the entire roof.
It's gonna be a while before we actually get it back into shape.
A mile away, John Marino's rebuild is delayed again.
And the rain, of course, has held us up.
His foundation was scheduled to be poured this week, but with the threat of rain, everything got pushed back.
Hopefully by the end of next week, we will actually have groundbreaking for our foundation.
How frustrating has this been for you?
Not at all. No, this has been a lot of fun.
I sense some sarcasm there, John.
just a little bit.
As all over town, homes are in different states of rebuild, some with frames, some with foundation, some still empty.
So far, it is way better than it was.
As for Gwen and Jacques, they're just looking up, smiling, since their invention seems to be keeping the water away, and hopefully, when it stops, they can get back to building their dream home.
2 months in the house we bought and 6 months in the trailer.
All right, and when you're talking about a lot of rain along the west coast and drier conditions around here, usually there's a correlation there, and often at times when we get into these drought patterns, you'll see a lot of wet weather there. And don't forget, we talked a bit about that La Nina phase as far as the overall pattern in the seasonality, and I think we're really starting to see those impacts right now, and those are shifts in the upper level wind patterns keeping us above average, and it's also keeping us very dry at the moment. Now, temperature-wise, we're cooling off. We're seeing some 40s. in areas north and east, we'll all be in the low 50s, upper 40s tomorrow morning. So a chill is back. There was a very weak front, but just enough moved through yesterday. And you can see we've got the wind out of the north, but that's going to shift around tomorrow back out of the south direction. But we start off chilly. Notice how we start to get some clouds that may try to start working in here tomorrow as we get into that southerly flow. I know we talked a lot last week about a more active pattern setting up. It's still going to happen here as we finish out the month of November. But first off, through the middle of the week, we got a lot of different things to talk about. First, it's a record warmth. And then notice Wednesday, it may be mostly cloudy to start, maybe a couple of showers to the north. As that moisture, that southwest flow starts to kick in, we start to see maybe a few isolated showers in areas to the north. Not a lot of rain, though. The drought wins the battle this week, it looks like, at least through the middle of the week. There's Wednesday afternoon. And look at these temperatures. Wow, 80 degrees. And, you know, if we get more sunshine, we could go even warmer than what we see here. I mean, this is going to be record-setting warmth that we have coming up for the middle of the week. But as we start to heat up, here we go. The severe risk is going to start ramping up in states west of Alabama. Now, this system, as it ejects to the north and the east, what will happen is we'll see what's left of this, and nothing too organized, but we'll start to see some scattered showers and storms perhaps as early as Friday morning, but it's scattered. It's not a washout. So if you have big plans during the day Friday, it's not a total washout. There's 2 a.m. Friday. So again, during the morning, we might start to see some of that scattered development. There's 6 a.m. And again, this is global model data, but it just gives you an idea that we're not talking an all-day soaking here. Notice this is showing 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. So there will be some breaks into the evening, but notice off and on scattered showers still possible into the morning hours on Saturday. So we're going to kind of catch a tail end of this system, what's left of it as it moves in. But there will be a front here. It just basically stalls out over the region. So the temperatures may drop slightly into early next week, but we quickly warm back up again as we count down to the big holiday. And Thanksgiving right now looks like it's a mostly dry day, but the next big system after the one we're talking about here coming up Friday is going to be around the 26th, 27th. So middle of next week, we got a system that could impact travel with respect to rain chances and the possibility of storms. But where's all the cold air? You may be wondering as we look down the road here, and this says wind chills. I meant to change that. These are the actual air temperatures. These are not the wind chills. But one thing you'll notice is as we get closer to the 28th, and again, this is really long-range data, just taking you beyond the 10-day, in early December, we're seeing signals that some really cold air could break away. And eventually the cold air's got to move, and we'll start to see it as expected in the month of December. Now, as far as the polar plunge, sub-freezing, or should I say the hard freeze kind of weather, not seeing it anytime soon. Eventually, we know some of that really cold air is going to make a return, but we know frost, freezing temperatures will also make a return, and it looks like at the earliest, perhaps in that 29th of November to December 4th window, the possibility that we could see our next really return to winter, right? Some cooler temperatures. So 10-day forecast, again, watching for that rain chance. Still not the rain we need, but we'll take any drop of rain we can get Friday into Saturday. And then again, watching around the middle of next week. So we'll keep you well informed on the First Alert Weather app and more after the break.
Explore the wonders of weather with Weather in the Classroom. Scan the QR code now to help your kids soar to new heights with Soar with 6.
Certainly feeling chilly again out there tonight, so you may need to adjust that thermostat. Certainly long sleeve weather in the morning, but it's back to warmer afternoons. Changes by the weekend. We'll keep you well informed, but right now I want to show you some pictures from that First Alert weather app. Jessica Nichols sent us this photo. Look in the upper left and you'll see what Jessica calls fire in the sky. She doesn't know what she caught on camera recently, but might have been a torrid meteor. I mean, we've seen a lot of photos. And this next pic, this is something that you see very often in the sky over Alabama. It's a Starlink satellite. Some of you reached out to me and said, what in the world's going on here? But it headed into final orbit. This was captured by Shelley Holder in the sky over Bremen up in Coleman County. Always great hearing from our friends in Bremen. And how about this picture of a beautiful morning in Double Springs, Alabama, Winston County, showing off thanks to Johnny Farley for sending us this Alabama the Beautiful photo. And how about this, a nice look at Baines Gap Waterfall just outside of Anniston. Our good friend Rodney Frazier with another incredible view there. Thank you, Rodney, for sharing the view. It's nice to see that we still have waterfall with the lack of rain we've had here lately, but we do have rain chances returning by the weekend. We will be back to update you on what the data is showing tonight. Catch us for updates first at 9.